Malcolm McLean, transformed the logistic industry forever. Since he introduced the intermodal shipping container in 1957, the transportation cost of goods have been reduced by an order of magnitude to almost zero. We are on a mission to replicate the productivity gains for the financial industry. With the ACTUS Protocol, we aim to industrialize the production and management of financial assets. The timing couldn't be better. Currently, a new financial infrastructure is being built on distributed ledger technology. It's a disruptive technology like the internet or digital image capturing. It will transform the financial value chain and lower barriers for new entrants because it provides numerous competitive advantages. We are just at the beginning. With Bitcoin, we have seen the first killer application, a global censorship-resistant alternative to currencies. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The next big wave will be the tokenization of financial assets, like loans, bonds, or derivatives. All these instruments in these 500+ trillion financial markets are represented by financial contracts. They define the payment obligation between the different parties. The who owns what, to whom, and when. The encoding of this payment obligation is a perfect use case for smart financial contracts. Today, the data and logic of financial contracts is scattered across players and systems, which leads to inefficiencies and huge integration as well as data reconciliation costs. Blockchain democratizes finance because it enables issuers and investors to transact directly with each other on these alternative infrastructures. The core of this infrastructure will run outside of the financial institutions on a shared and global banking infrastructure. The next, Temenos or Avalok. It will hold the single source of truth concerning the financial contract data and logic, and distribute the funds directly without relying on today's legacy systems. With the ACTUS Protocol, we provide the first open, comprehensive and unified banking infrastructure for tokenized financial assets. The ACTUS Protocol is a smart contract framework that can issue and service the life cycle of all kinds of financial instruments. Each asset is represented by a machine-readable term sheet. It contains the executable model of the payment obligation that can be used for transaction scheduling or forward-looking analysis. And thirdly, the protocol takes care of the distribution of funds between issuers and investors. Issuers and issuance solution providers can leverage this banking infrastructure to build powerful tokenization solutions for various use cases. Our middleware and APIs simplifies the integration into existing financial systems and abstracts away the complexity of interacting with blockchains. But we don't stop there. If we want to industrialize the management of financial assets, it's not enough to just encode financial contracts into smart contracts on the blockchain. I would like to illustrate my point and draw an analogy. Think of an institutional portfolio as a ship into which you on- and offload financial assets. Because each asset is packaged in a different way, the shipping of financial data is very inefficient and resembles the old days of on- and offloading cargo. This problem multiplies because the asset needs to be represented in a variety of systems, such as reporting, analytics, treasury, tax, and so on. We need a paradigm shift if we don't want to replicate today's data mess within financial institutions on the blockchain. That's why we introduce with the ACTUS Protocol the concept of shipping containers for financial assets. What do we mean by containerized financial assets? First of all, containerized. This means our assets have standardized interfaces for the entire life cycle and unified data models. All systems can interact with any asset in the same way. Thus, you get rid of integration and data reconciliation efforts. You get the plug-and-play convenience we are used from ERC20 tokens. But for financial assets, that need to distribute funds. Secondly, the core banking is built into the asset. It contains all it needs for its economic life cycle and is the single golden source of truth for data and logic. All the players interacting with the asset don't need to duplicate this logic in their systems. And thirdly, we offer these containerized assets for all major financial instruments as parameterizable templates. With just 32 different containers, we covered 95% of today's financial instruments. We can achieve that because we leverage the taxonomy of the open ACTUS financial contract standard for our protocol. If you want to learn more about the ACTUS standard, please visit their website or our Medium blog. We have witnessed in various industries that industrialization relies on standardization. Thus, at this point, usually the question arises, why should anyone adopt these containerized assets? The answer is the same as in the case of Malcolm McLean. He didn't have to wait for anyone to adopt his shipping containers because he had immediate benefits for his own business, from moving goods from the road, from trucks, to the sea on ships, or onto the railroad. Shipping containers reduced his cost and delivery times by an order of magnitude. The same will apply for issuers that build their solution on top of the ACTUS protocol. If they want to issue various financial instruments, they will benefit from lower production costs, because they will have less integration and data reconciliation costs into their accounting, tax, or core banking systems. Further, they will profit from a faster go-to-market, because they don't have to build the financial contract logic from scratch. This would anyway be something non-differentiating. Issuers should rather focus on the differentiating part of their solution. And thirdly, they will be able to offer much more innovative new products. Because our assets are containerized, issuer can combine them much more easily and conveniently, either on an asset level or on an individual cash flow level. But not only the issuer profits from the ACTUS protocol, also the other players along the financial value chain. Let's illustrate, for example, an exchange. Today, an exchange needs to list these assets manually. The terms of the assets and the economics need to be defined and feeded into the systems. With the ACTUS protocol, an exchange would rather function more like a modern cargo port. Once the exchange has integrated the ACTUS protocol, he can handle any asset from any issuer from a financial standpoint of view in the same way. So he has the tools to take any container and to read the economics of the assets. It's the KYA, the Know Your Assets, that can be automated. He will be able to automatically display the economics of an asset to its user, calculate accrued interest on an asset or portfolio level, and much more easily price these assets. The ACTUS protocol empowers challengers to build frictionless ecosystems with more attractive assets. Investors profit from higher yields and players from better margins because of the low interoperability premium of such assets. And every additional player will increase those network effects. What can you build on top of the ACTUS protocol? I would like to illustrate it with some use cases we are discussing with potential clients. So we're looking into B2B leasing cases to reduce the cost of handling such cost tracks and then ABS structures. Digital asset management solution that want to provide alternative asset classes much more cheaply. SME challenger banks or mutualized insurers that would insure first-year losses on loans of different issuers. The ACTUS protocol provides issuers and the ecosystem with an assembly line that empowers a frictionless life cycle from issuance to reporting. It's like in a modern car production. You want these assets to go through automatically from mid to back office, zero touch. And you don't want to build a separate assembly line for every new asset class. If you're interested to learn more about the life cycle, please have a look at the screencast from Niels. What about regulation? The ACTUS Protocol is all about the financial life cycle. But you can easily wrap the security token protocol of your choice around our financial assets. By implementing the ERC 2222 Funds Distribution Standard or Interface, you can ensure the compliance of the cash flows flowing in or out of our infrastructure. Our smart contract framework is currently running on Ethereum testnet, and we are ready to do POCs with clients and partners. We have already done a POC with a Swiss lending platform called Swiss Peers, and also with the security token protocol of Polymath to show that we can wrap a compliance solution in a couple of days around our financial assets. We plan to bring the ACTUS protocol in the next 6 to 8 months to Ethereum mainnet. If you are interested to learn more, please follow us on our Medium blog and have a look at the screencast from Niels, which will walk you through to the life cycle of an ACTUS financial asset.